Willow laid nearly perfectly still for the next 25 minutes. Then I started getting restless and gently asked her how she was doing. Good. It's a very enchanting place. I almost don't want to leave it. Transitions are completions. How I am, who I am. First, I saw a tunnel or channel of light off to the right. I had to turn to go into it. Then the whole process repeated on the left. It was intentional that way. It was as if it had a source further away. It got bigger farther away, like a funnel. It was bright and pulsating. There was a sound like music, like a score, but unfamiliar to me, supporting the emotional tone of the events and drawing me in. I was very small. It was very large. There were large beings in the tunnel on the right side next to me. I had a sense of great speed. Everything was unimportant relative to this. Things were flashing by, as if from a different perspective. It was so much more real than life. The left and right tunnels joined in front of me. There were gremlins, small faces mostly. They had wings and tails and stuff. I paid them little attention. The larger beings were there to sustain and support me. That was their realm, a sort of good and evil thing. The gremlins versus the tall beings. The tall beings were loving, smiling, and serene. Something rushed through me, out of me. I remember thinking at some point, here comes the separation. I felt my body only when I swallowed or breathed, and that really wasn't a physical feeling as much as a way of setting ripples through the experience. I felt strongly, this is dying, and this is okay. I had heard of the bright light tunnel, but I didn't expect it to be the way it was here today. I thought it would be primarily in front of me, but this took turns on both sides and then joined in front. Nor was it as bright as I thought it might be. I'm amazed DMT is in the body. It's there for a reason. It's there for dying today. I had a sense of dying, letting go, and separating after the beings in the tunnel helped me along. How do you feel about returning, being back in your body? It's okay for now. She sounded wistful. The other side is very, very different. There are no words, body, or sounds there to limit things. I first saw deep space, white with stars. Then there was this multidimensional experience starting. It was alive. It was the aliveness that I heard. My body was trying to say, remember the body, as I was going into that place. It wasn't a desperate cry, but an attempt to keep it real, make the experience real from the point of view of the senses. The body wanted me back. I thought I could see light down below, the world's light. It was like a little flap was lifted, like a simultaneous alternate reality. A few months later, Willow re-experienced another high dose of DMT in the menstrual phase study. As she stirred, she began speaking. It's like a cosmic joke. If we all knew what was waiting for us, we'd all kill ourselves. That's why we stay in this form for so long, to figure that out. That's why it's so hard to remember the immediacy of it. I've been reading books about the near-death experience, Saved by the Light and embraced by the light. They really do a good job of describing the DMT state. I'm reading them in such a familiar manner. Everyone should try a high dose of DMT once. I don't know if the beings today were saying, try death once or try life once. That place is so full and so complete that the idea of this place is to try and be as complete as possible. Yet, when I came back into my body, it was so heavy and so confining. Also, time here seems so strange. Eternity is an attribute of the place. It would have to be. While it's never a good idea to call anyone's experiences on DMT classic, I think it's not too far afield to use that term in describing Willow's near-death experiences. Her consciousness separated from her body. She moved rapidly through a tunnel or tunnels toward a warm, loving, all-knowing white light. Beings helped her on the way, and some even threatened to drag her down. Beautiful music accompanied her on the early stages of the journey. Time and space lost all meaning. She was tempted not to return, but realized she needed to share the incredible information she received with this world. There were spiritual and mystical overtones to her joining with and basking in the white light. Willow's dawning awareness of a light down below, the world's light, also reminds us of one of the last bardos in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This is the stage in which the soul starts looking for a new body in which to incarnate, sees the lights of the world, and starts its descent. Her comment about everyone committing suicide if they knew how great the afterlife is points out another similarity between Willow's experiences and those of naturally occurring NDEs. That is, those who have had an NDE do not rush off to suicide. Rather, they reside in the knowledge that there is life after death, and that transition loses its sting. Thus, they are able to live life more fully, because the fear of death that drives so many to distraction is now so much less. I was interested to hear that she found reading popular books describing the near-death experience to be like reviewing her own DMT sessions. I needed little more validation to believe we were on the right track in relating high levels of DMT to the NDE.